Want to know exactly how your RCM exam is marked? In this video, we'll break the exam down into its three major components: repertoire, technical requirements, and musicianship, and explain how each section contributes to your final mark. From memory marks to sight reading marks, this breakdown will clarify the weight of each element, enabling more targeted and effective preparation. By learning how to prioritize your practice, you can maximize your results. Let's take a closer look at how marks are distributed across each component of the exam. You can see how each section contributes to the final mark, which is broken down into three main components: repertoire, technical requirements, and musicianship. A passing mark is 60 out of 100. For levels 1 to 7, the repertoire component is worth a total of 56 marks. There are three required lists in this component: List A, List B, and List C. They are marked individually, with the List A piece worth 16 marks, List B, 18 marks, and List C, 16 marks. 2 additional marks are given for each piece that is performed without the score, for a total of 6 marks for memory. Next, the technical requirements component is worth a total of 24 marks, split evenly between the etudes, 12 marks, and the technical tests, such as scales, chords, and arpeggios, which are also worth 12 marks. Notice that there are no memory marks for the etudes. You can play them with or without the score. The musicianship component is worth a total of 20 marks. It is subdivided into ear tests and sight reading. Ear tests are worth a total of 10 marks. Intervals are worth 2 marks. Chords, 2 marks. Chord progressions, 2 marks. Note that chord progression identification is applicable for levels 5 to 7. For levels 1 to 4, clapback is tested instead of chord progressions, and playback is worth 4 marks. Sight reading is also worth a total of 10 marks. The sight reading rhythm portion is worth 3 marks, whereas the sight reading playing portion, either traditional or lead sheet reading, is worth 7 marks. As you can see, your repertoire counts for more than half of your final mark. It is 56% of the total. Next is the technical requirements, weighing in at 24% of your final mark. Musicianship, which includes ear tests and sight reading, although carries the least weight, is worth 20% of your final mark, which is still quite a lot. Understanding the breakdown of the marks helps students and teachers prioritize and focus on their preparation in a strategic manner. Level 8 follows the same overall marking scheme as levels 1 to 7, with one key difference in the repertoire component. Instead of 3 required pieces, Level 8 includes 4. List A, B, C, and D. Lists A, C, and D are worth 12 marks each. List B, which carries the most weight, is worth 14 marks. The total marks for the repertoire component remains at 56, but it's just distributed a little differently. For memory, 1.5 marks are given per piece that is performed without the score, up to a maximum of 6 marks. The remaining components, technical requirements and musicianship, are identical to the breakdown used in levels 1 to 7, with repertoire worth 56% of your final mark, technical requirements worth 24%, and musicianship, ear tests and sight reading, worth 20% of your final mark. By level 9, the expectations are higher, especially in the repertoire component. Here's what changes. The repertoire component includes 4 required pieces. List A is worth 14 marks. List B, which is the most heavily weighted, is worth 16 marks. List C is worth 14 marks, and List D is worth 12 marks. However, unlike the earlier levels, there are no memory marks at level 9. Instead, it is expected that the students perform all repertoire by memory. 1 mark will be deducted for each piece not performed by memory. The technical requirements and musicianship components remain consistent with the lower levels. Technical requirements are worth 24 marks, and musicianship is worth 20 marks. Therefore, while the structure is similar, the expectations are definitely higher. For level 10, the format remains consistent with earlier levels, but with a slight adjustment in the repertoire component. In level 10, students need to prepare 5 repertoire selections from lists A to E. List A is worth 12 marks. List B, which carries the highest value, is worth 14 marks. Lists C, D, and E are each worth 10 marks. Similar to level 9, students at level 10 are expected to perform their repertoire from memory. As a result, no additional memory marks are awarded at this level. 1 mark will be deducted for each piece not performed by memory. So the total marks for repertoire still add up to 56, maintaining consistency with previous levels. The remaining components are unchanged. Technical requirements are worth 24 marks, and musicianship is worth 20 marks. Ear tests are at 10 marks, and sight reading is also at 10 marks. And there you have it, a full overview of the marking scheme from levels 1 through 10. The next level, RCT, builds on these foundations but falls outside the scope of this video. Now that we've reviewed the structure and expectations up to level 10, let's look at one of the simplest ways to boost your score, memorization. Memorizing your pieces does take extra work, but it is a guaranteed way to earn marks just for playing them by heart. In levels 1 through 7, you'll earn 2 marks for each repertoire piece from list A, B, and C that's performed from memory. That's up to 6 marks total just for having them memorized. At level 8, it's 1.5 marks per memorized piece from lists A, B, C, and D. This also adds up to a total of 6 marks if all are played from memory. For levels 9 and 10, you're expected to have your pieces all memorized or you will lose marks. You'll get 1 mark deducted for each repertoire selection played with the music. Regarding studies or etudes in all levels, memorization is not required, and no extra marks are awarded even you have them all memorized. Bottom line, I always tell my students, having your pieces memorized is a surefire way to score marks. And that brings us to the end of our detailed walkthrough into the RCM marking scheme from levels 1 through 10. Whether you're just starting out or preparing for the higher levels, understanding how each component contributes to your final mark is key to planning your practice effectively. Repertoire carries the most weight, but technical requirements and musicianship skills are essential pillars of your overall performance. And keep in mind, memorization isn't just a bonus in the early levels, it becomes an expectation as you progress. So take the time to study the breakdown, aim for balance in your preparation, and use memorization strategically to boost your score. With a clear plan and consistent effort, you'll be setting yourself up for success. To help students and teachers prepare efficiently, I've created printable tables for each level, from Prep A to Level 10. These include space to list repertoire pieces and composers, plus detailed breakdowns of technical and musicianship requirements, like which scales, chords, arpeggios, what keys and tempos, and what kinds of ear tests are expected. You can use them to track progress and plan your practice strategically. You'll find the link to them in the description below. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your exam preparation.